to Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives with your host, Singh. This is where leadership meets purpose, presence, and passion. In today's fast paced, high pressure world, we face a leadership crisis. Too often, teams are led by managers who lack empathy, clarity, and vision, leaving individuals uninspired, disconnected, and undervalued. But it doesn't have to be this way. Great leadership isn't born, it's built. The end game: empower your leadership, inspire the world. Every week, join me, your host Singh, as we tackle the gaps in leadership and life coaching head on, learning how mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and compassion can redefine success. This isn't just another podcast, it's a mission to fill the void left by ineffective leadership. And it's not just about leadership in business. Life coaching for leaders and new executives is at heart of this journey. Ready to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, purpose, and impact? Join a global movement dedicated to reshaping the future of leadership one mindful moment at a time. Let's begin.
You know that moment in every superhero story when they finally realize their greatest challenge is the source of their power? Peter Parker's guilt, Batman's trauma, Elsa's unintentional ice chaos. That moment, that moment is not just for superheroes, it's for people like you and me too. The biggest struggles, they are not holding us back, they are giving us the blueprint for our leadership superpower. So today, we are flipping the script on how you see your challenges, reframing them as the foundation of your purpose, and showing you how to turn what you have survived into how you thrive. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives on the Transformation Network, where high performance meets deep purpose. I'm your host, Singh. Let me ask you, have you ever looked at your struggles and thought, does this disqualify me from being a great leader? Well, they don't. In fact, your challenges, they are not the problem, they are the superpower you haven't tapped into yet. This is episode 3 of our series, Purpose as the Compass. And today, we are flipping the script on how you can see your backstory. By the end of this episode, you will know how to reframe your struggles into strengths, connect your personal story to your leadership style, and use my face method to own your origin story with clarity and confidence. All right, let's start with a truth bomb. Leadership isn't just about the wins you post on LinkedIn. It's not about the promotion, the awards, or even the cool office with standing desk and the indoor plant you try not to kill. Real leadership, it's about what you have overcome. Here's the thing: when you look at leaders you admire, whether it's a Fortune 500 CEO or that one manager who didn't make you want to fake an illness every Monday, it's not their success that inspires you, it is their story. It is the struggles they have faced, the lessons they have learned, and the way they have used those experiences to lead with empathy and resilience. But let's be real. Most of us, we don't see our own challenges that way. Instead, we think, well, I am bombed that presentation, or I got passed over for that job. How does that make me a leader? If that sounds like you, stick around because we are flipping that script today. So let's start with Spider Man. And yes, I'm going full Marvel on because movies have been making billions for a reason. They have nailed human storytelling. Peter Parker didn't become Spider Man because he got bitten by a radioactive spider. That is just a setup. I mean, if getting bitten by something gave you superpowers, half of us would be superheroes by now, right? Even been to a picnic in summer? You know what I'm getting to? So, what made Peter a Spider Man? What gave him the purpose and drive was the guilt he felt after losing Uncle Ben. That struggle became his mission. Without it, he's just a guy in spandex trying not to get stuck in his own webbing. And guess what? The same is true for you. Your radioactive spider bite moment. Whatever challenge you have faced might feel like the thing holding you back, but in reality, it is shaping you into the leader you're meant to be. So let's bring this to real life. Have you seen what's happening with Simon Biles? She's not just a gymnast, she's a leader. And what makes her leadership so powerful isn't just her gold medals. It's the fact that she's been open about her struggles with mental health and pressure of being the GOAT. When she stepped back from competing in Tokyo, people didn't just see a champion, they saw a human being who had courage to say, I need a moment. That's leadership. Because now athletes everywhere feel like they have permission to prioritize their mental health. Her struggles didn't qualify her, it didn't disqualify. They made her relatable, resilient, and real. And that's the kind of leader people want to follow. So here's the takeaway: the things you have struggled with, whether it is overcoming self doubt, bouncing back from failure, or surviving a workplace that felt more like the Hunger Games, those are the things that made you stronger, more empathetic as a leader. All right, think about like this: your challenges are the foundation of your leadership superpower. They are what make you relatable to your team. They are what help you connect with others who are struggling. Because let's be honest, no one wants to follow the person who have never failed, never struggled, and never had to eat humble pie. That's not a leader, that's a robot. And last time I checked, no one was inspired by a bloody Roomba. So here's my challenge for you. Think about a time when you faced something tough, a moment when it felt like the odds were completely stacked against you. Right in that moment, what did you learn from that experience? How did it change you? And more importantly, how can you use that lesson to lead with more authenticity and impact? Because when you start to see your challenges as assets, when you stop hiding your story and start owning it, that's when you unlock the kind of leadership that inspires people. Your challenges are not holding you back, they are your greatest strength. You just have to flip the script. All right, let's talk about something most of us do that holds us back. We look at our challenges, the failures, the rejections, the moments we would rather forget, and we treat them like an embarrassing baggage. Like that extra carry on you're trying to smuggle onto budget airline, just waiting for someone to call you out. But here's the thing: your challenges, they are not baggage, they are tools. They are the fuel for your leadership. And today we are flipping the script on how we see our struggles. Because what you have survived, what you have learned from those hard moments isn't holding you back, it is equipping you. And for the first time, reframing. Let me put this in perspective for a second. Imagine if the Avengers, yes, I said I'm going full Marvel this time. Imagine if the Avengers sat down complaining about their origin story, right? Tony Stark. Oh, I was kidnapped and forced to build weapons in a cave, so now I am emotionally unavailable, right? Or Bruce Banner. I can't even get angry without tripping my pants. Or Natasha Romanoff. Let's not talk about my childhood. I don't even know what a real family looks like. See, if they stayed stuck in their pain, they would have never saved the world. But instead, they reframed their challenges as purpose. Tony Stark didn't stop at being traumatized, he became Iron Man. Natasha didn't let her past define her, she used it to defy the odds. And you don't need a superhero suit or a franchise deal with Marvel to do the same. You just need to start looking at your own story through a new lens. Let me share a real life example. I worked with a leader named Jen. Jen was brilliant, sharp, strategic, and a kind of person you would want in your corner during crisis. But oh my God, she didn't see herself that way. Why? Because she had this highlight reel of professional failures playing on repeat in her head. She had been passed over for promotions multiple times. She struggled with imposter syndrome so bad it felt like her brain had a full time critic. And she would walk away from a toxic workplace, which she saw as a personal failure because she thought she should have been able to tough it out. To Jen, those experiences were proof that she was not cut out for leadership. But when we started unpacking her story, everything changed. Getting passed over for promotion, that wasn't failure. It was resilience training. She learned how to bounce back, keep her confidence, and stay focused on goals. Struggling with imposter syndrome, it made her deeply empathetic to her team. She could spot self doubt in others and coach them through it because she had been there. And living that toxic workplace, that wasn't quitting, it was clarity. It gave her the vision for a healthy team culture rooted in trust and respect. Her biggest challenges were not disqualifying her, they were equipping and training her to lead from a place of strength, empathy, and purpose. Let's talk about Deion Sanders for a second. I don't know if you have been following what's happened with the University of Colorado football team. Coach Prime, right? He has completely flipped the script, not just for his team, but what leadership looks like in college sports. When he took over as head coach, Colorado's football program was at rock bottom. A 1-11 record, no momentum, zero expectations. But Dion didn't just accept that narrative, he reframed. He brought in new players, new energy, and let's be honest, a little swagger. He's been unapologetically himself and he's using his own story, including the challenges he faced as a player and coach, to inspire his team. See, Dion's had health scares, public criticism, and moments where people doubted he could succeed. But instead of letting those struggles define him, he's turned them into a leadership philosophy. We coming. He's taken adversity and turned it into momentum. And the result, Colorado went from being an afterthought to one of the most talked about teams in the country. So here is my question for you. What is the Deion Sanders moment in your life? What is the challenge you need to reframe so you can show up with confidence, lead with unapologetic purpose, and say, we coming? And here's the shift. Even failure, even setback, every why is this happening to me moment. Think about it. It is building something. It's teaching you lessons you didn't even know needed. The rejection you faced, it taught you persistence. That mistakes you made, it gave you humility and ability to own up your own messes. That time you felt flat on your face, it gave you resilience to get back. You're not defined by what you have been through. You're defined by what you do with it. Reframing isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending it did not happen. No, it is about asking, what did this teach me? It is about asking, how can I use to lead better, live better, and connect with others more deeply? Because the truth is, what you have survived might just be the most important thing you bring on the table. Let's get real for a second. We all have stories we would rather not share. You know, the ones that they're messy, embarrassing, or just plain painful. Maybe it's time you bombed a presentation so badly that the audience was visibly rooting for you to stop, or that job you didn't get after telling everyone it was basically in the bag. But here's the thing, these moments, they're not parts of your stories to hide, they are the parts to own. Because when you share your story, when you really lean into it, you don't just connect with others, you inspire them. And the best part, you inspire yourself. That's where the FACE method comes in. As always, another very simple four-step framework to help you turn your challenges into leadership strength. Let's break it down. First, feel the moment. As always, you have to become the observer, right? So, step one is feel the moment. I'm not asking you to spiral into full on emotional flashback in the middle of your workday. I get that. But I'm asking you to pause and let yourself revisit that defining challenge. Not just what happened, but how it felt. Think about it. Where were you? What did it look like, sound like, or even smell like? Drop into the emotional texture of that moment. And here is why it matters. If you skip this step, your story stays flat. It becomes this sanitized, bullet point version of what you went through. But again, leadership is not about perfection, it's about connection. And connection happens when you can revisit those moments and channel emotions the way you felt, not just the facts after it. For example, when I think back to a challenge I faced early in my career, I don't just remember being overwhelmed. I remember exactly how it felt to sit in a meeting where I had no idea what anyone was talking about. My heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, and I was 2 seconds away from Googling how to look smart in a meeting. And that feeling, it's what makes me empathetic to people who feel out of their depth now. So, what is that moment? What is that one moment in your life where you felt stretched, overwhelmed, or even broken? Revisit it, not to dwell, but to feel it. Because once you do that, then the next step, and that is acknowledge the lesson. This is where shift from feeling the moment to asking, what does this experience teach me about myself? Let's be clear. This is not about what you accomplished or how it all turned out in the end. It is about internal lesson. The thing you discovered about your resilience, your creativity, your ability to ask for help. Let me give you example. I'm not sure if you heard about Chadwick Boseman, right? Before becoming Black Panther, he faced rejection after rejection and was told he wasn't bankable enough for leading roles. But instead of letting those moments break him, he used them to build an unshakable sense of purpose. He once said, and I quote, sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can figure out what your fight is. See, sometimes you need to get knocked out, knocked down before you can figure out what your fight is. That is the power of acknowledging the lesson. Boseman didn't just survive rejection, he used it to fuel his drive, his passion, and ultimately his legendary, legendary legacy. So, what's your lesson? Is it resilience? Is it ability to pivot? Is it simply the fact that you can get back no matter how many times you fall? Just write it down, own it. And step three is to connect to others. See, the fact is, your story is not just yours. Yes, it is personal. It is personal, but it is also universal. My point is the challenges you have faced, someone else is going through them right now. And your story could be the roadmap they need. Ponder this. Imagine you are leading a team and one of your employees is struggling with imposter syndrome. They're convinced they're not smart enough, not good enough, not whatever enough to be in the room. Now imagine you share your own story, how you have felt that exact same way, and how you learn to push through it. What happens? Connection, trust. That person feels seen. They realize they're not alone. That is the power of your story. It transforms you from the boss who has it all together to the leader who gets it. And trust me, people want to follow the leader who gets it. And when you can do that, step four, express with intention. This is where you take everything you have felt, learned, and connected to, and you share it not as a confession, but as a gift. And remember, expressing your story isn't about oversharing, just to clarify. It is not about dumping every detail of your life onto your team during Monday's or all hands meeting. No, it's not. But it's about sharing the right story at the right time with a clear purpose. And here's how you do it, right? Number one, keep it clear. What's the takeaway you want people to walk away with? Second, keep it authentic. Don't sugarcoat or make yourself the hero of the story. Just tell it like it is. Be the observer of the incident. Keep it connected. Tie it back to the moment, the lesson, and how it applies to your leadership today. When you do this, your story begins to stop being something you hide and starts being something you harness. It becomes a tool for connection, trust, and impact. Going back to Deion Sanders again, right? Coach Prime himself. When he took over Colorado football, he didn't come in with a sanitized, everything perfect story. He came in with his story, his challenges, his setbacks, his health scares. He didn't hide them. He used them to connect with each player, to show them that greatness isn't about avoiding adversity, it's about facing it head on. And that authenticity, my friend, that it's why his players trust him, why his team has turned into a powerhouse, and why people all over the country are rooting for him. Dion didn't just tell his story, he faced his story. He felt it, acknowledged the lessons, connected it to others, and expressed it with intention. And the result, leadership that's real, relatable, and magnetic. So here's the question for you. Are you ready to face your story? When you are, you're not just owning your challenges, you're transforming them. You are turning them into tools for connection, trust, and leadership that leaves an impact. So today, I challenge you, take one challenge you have faced and run it through the FACE method and see how it changes the way you think about your story and the way you lead. So, as in every episode, let's roll up our sleeves and put this method into action. And don't worry, this isn't one of those awkward trust exercises where someone has to fall backward into your arms. No, this is just you, your story, and a little reflection. Here's the thing, we have all got challenges in our past, moments that shaped us, even if we didn't realize it at that time. Maybe it was getting rejected for a promotion, or the time you bombed the presentation so badly that even the PowerPoint slides were embarrassed with you, right? But those moments, they are not just cringe-worthy memories. They are gold mines of growth. So let's dig in a bit, right? Step one, feel that moment. Think about one challenge that shaped you. Maybe it's a time you failed. I got rejected, whatever examples I have given before, right? Phase or setback that left you questioning yourself. Now, without analyzing it yet, just feel that. Where were you? What did it look like? What did it sound like? And most importantly, what did it really feel like? I'm, I once walked into a meeting where I was supposed to pitch a big idea, right? I was so nervous. I forgot half my points and ended up mumbling through the rest. I could literally feel my confidence dripping into the boardroom floor. My palms were sweating, my heart was racing, and I was 2 seconds away from faking a coughing fit to escape. But here's what's interesting. When I revisit that moment, I don't just cringe, I feel the growth. That moment taught me what it feels like to bomb, and it also taught me what I could survive it. So think back to that moment, feel it, not to relive, but to connect with it, right? And then ask yourself, what does this experience teach me about myself? Acknowledge that lesson. Maybe it showed you how resilient you are. Maybe it taught you how to ask for help. Or maybe it forced you to get real, really comfortable with being uncomfortable. For me, bombing that pitch taught me two things. First, that preparation is everything. Winging is not a strategy, especially not for me. I got that. And second, that failure isn't fatal. In fact, it often the best teacher. So, what is that story in your story? Write it down, say it loud, or just sit with it for a second, because this is where transformation begins, friends. Now, your story isn't just your story. Like I said, it is personal, but it is also universal. Think about it. Who else might benefit from hearing your story? Is it someone on your team who is struggling with self doubt? Is it a friend who feels like they are the only one failing? Or is it a younger version of yourself who could have used a little reassurance that they weren't alone? Now, when you share your story, you're not just connecting with others, you're giving them permission to show up as their imperfect, growing selves. And that, my friends, is leadership. Remember Deion Sanders, he didn't just walk into Colorado football with a highlight reel of his wins. He shared his struggles, his health scares, his setbacks, his humanity. And because of that, his players trust him. So, who is your world? Who in your world might need to hear your story? Picture them and hold that thought. And now, step four. This is where you take everything you have just reflected on, your moment, your lesson, your connection, and you share it. But here's the key: share it as a gift, not as a confession. Again, clear, authentic, and connected. When you do this, your story stops being thing you carry around like baggage and starts becoming tool for connection, trust, and impact. All right, that's the face method in action. Feel the moment, acknowledge the lesson, connect to others, and express with intention. Remember, your story isn't yours. It's not just yours, it's someone else's roadmap. So next time you are tempted to hide it, ask yourself, who might need to hear this? Chances are the answer is closer than you think. All right, let's bring this home. If today's episode hit a nerve in a good way, don't let it stop here. Take the next step to rewrite your story and lead with purpose. Head on to singleadership.com and take the purpose factor assessment. In just 25 minutes, you will uncover what truly drives you, identify what might be holding you back, and get a personalized roadmap to align your story with your leadership. Because here's the truth: your challenges are not holding you back, they are fueling your leadership if you reframe it. So take purpose factor assessment today. It's your first step towards flipping the script and leading a place of alignment and impact. Until next time, lead with purpose, breathe with intention, and keep showing up as the best version of you because the world needs you. I'm Singh, and you have been listening to the Mindful Leadership on the Transformation Network. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives. With me, your host, Singh. We are honored to have you join us on this journey to explore the transformative power of mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. Tune in every week on transformationtalkradio.com at noon Pacific on Tuesdays, where we will continue to explore how mindful leadership can create a ripple effect of positive changes in your life and lives of those you influence. This show is dedicated to helping you lead with purpose, presence, and passion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of business, building stronger connection with your team, or striving to make a meaningful impact in the world around you. To learn more about the show, access additional resources, or dive deeper, visit singpowerupcoach.com. Remember, leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Let's continue to transform lives together, one mindful moment at a time. See you next week.